Enterprises Limited.
Good evening and welcome. You're watching the 7 o'clock news on CNC3. I'm Ria Rambali.
I'm Akash Samar.
I am Jassi Marique with sport.
And I'm Sigoni Mohammed with your weather report.
Let's tell you what's making the news tonight. Government minister confirms lands have been identified in Debe and Picton for a data center. Residents want the location clarified.
It will not be work as usual in Mwassa until the board has addressed the situation that is taking place here.
PSA members call for WASA's head of HR to go over stalled negotiations. The Public Utilities Minister intervenes, demanding answers on the delay.
Daily rated workers to get higher salaries next month after Cabinet ratified the union's 10% wage agreement.
Ahead in sport, secondary schools football gets a bailout from the Ministry of Sport, with Tobago schools welcomed back into the fold.
An incoming tropical wave prompts an adverse weather alert for the islands when it takes effect, and more in the weekend weather forecast.
Weeks after one government minister claimed that lands between St. Madeleine and Picton were being cleared for former Caroni workers, another government minister reveals it's for a data center. Now residents of Picton, Golconda and surrounding communities are calling for a clear map showing where the proposed data center will be built.
The call comes after Orapooch East MP Dr. Rudal Munilal confirmed that suitable lands have been identified in the vicinity of Debe and Picton for the data center. Speaking with reporters after distributing school book bags in his constituency office in Debe, Dr. Munilal says the project will bring much-needed industrial development and jobs to South Trinidad. In the United States, people who live close to data centers have complained about the excessive noise and the heat generated from the centers, but Dr. Munilal dismissed these concerns, saying the data center will be a positive development for South Trinidad, creating jobs and spin-off business opportunities.
Industrial development brings a certain amount of trepidation and fear of change. But once change comes, the people benefit by change because they will get the jobs, they will get the revenue, they will get investment in the area, they will expand what they're selling and so on. So we are very, very confident that this is a very, very positive development for South Trinidad and for Trinidad and Tobago as a whole. And I, as MP here, am extremely happy to welcome the data center.
But President of the Ridgewood Gardens Community Council, Deborah Lewis-Diaz, says residents want to know exactly where the facility will be located. She says there is a large parcel of land opposite Ridgewood Gardens Phase 1 which had been cleared, and residents want the government to show on a map how far the data center will be from their homes.
We are asking the residents of Ridgewood Gardens Phase 1 and 2 is simply asking for the minister to identify the land space that is going to be occupied for this data center. There's vast 200 acres plus land opposite the Ridgewood Gardens Phase 1. And we would just like to know if they can just identify this on a map, the area safely away from the residents, safely away from other housing developments.
Now, 2 weeks ago, Land and Legal Affairs Minister Saddam Hussein said acres of land cleared between St. Madeleine and Picton were earmarked for ex-Caroni workers and not the data center.
Residents are calling for public consultation before the data center project begins.
Trinidad and Tobago could eventually receive up to 7 trillion cubic feet of natural gas from Venezuela for processing, providing a major boost to the LNG and petrochemical sectors.
Prime Minister Kamla Persad-Bissessar says new agreements to develop Venezuela's Loran Manatee's gas field mark a major step forward in energy cooperation between the two countries. The latest license for Phase 2 involves BP, UAE-based XRG, and Qatar's UCC Holding. Phase 1 is being developed with Shell. The Prime Minister says the two agreements could see about 7 trillion cubic feet of Venezuelan gas coming to TNT for processing through the country's existing energy infrastructure. The Foreign and CARICOM Affairs Ministry says when Loran is combined with other projects such as Dragon, Manatee and Manakin Coquina, TNT could potentially monetize more than 12 trillion cubic feet of natural gas. Venezuela's acting president, Delcy Rodriguez, called the development a breakthrough following 23 years of efforts to advance production from the Loran field. Energy Minister Dr. Rudal Munilal says Trinidad and Tobago should begin to feel the economic impact of increased gas production by next year. Dr. Munilal says new gas projects are expected to come on stream and be monetized, while the government also works to revive oil production, saying oil production remains critical for revenue, foreign exchange and jobs. He revealed that the government is seeking investment to boost recovery. He says repairing aging offshore infrastructure could cost more than $1 billion, noting that discussions are also underway with the United States and European companies on upstream investment. He also says domestic gas projects will increase government revenue.
Pressure is mounting at WASA, with the Public Services Association demanding the removal of the authority's Human Resource Director. The union says wage negotiations have stalled since proposals were submitted in January.
WASA's line minister, Barry Padarth, says he has requested a report on the stalled talks, but his predecessor, Marvin Gonzalez, is accusing both the government and the PSA of misleading WASA workers. Doris Polo reports.
The chant targeted WASA's Human Resource Director, Bunny Rambajan, as Public Services Association members escalated pressure over stalled wage negotiations. The union says its proposals were submitted in January, but have yet to be advanced through the process needed to get them before Cabinet. The dispute centers on a 10% salary increase promised to public servants by the United National Congress during the election campaign. Negotiations with WASA's management began on Thursday morning, and talks continued until around midnight. The PSA says management then walked out without providing answers on the cost of settling the claims, including arrears, and the impact on WASA's recurrent expenditure.
The workers are frustrated. They are fed up. Every other organization, their proposals have been submitted and advanced to the various ministries, with the exception of WASA. The management, and let me specifically say the director of HR, has failed the workers of WASA, and now we are calling for her removal.
Thomas says the union wants the proposals submitted to the ministry for the settlement of negotiations. She's also warning that the PSA is reaching its tipping point.
It will not be work as usual in WASA until the board has addressed the situation that is taking place here. They are not being paid a stipend to be on a board for fun. This is serious work, and they need to come and deal with the issue. WASA is in a crisis. They need to come and treat with the crisis. It will not get better, it will only get worse.
The authority's line minister, Barry Padarth, says he is seeking answers from WASA.
I have requested a report from WASA with respect to the status of the wage negotiations, as well as the concerns that have been raised by the president of the PSA. We continue to have open, frank dialogue with the union in good faith, and therefore much more will be said at the appropriate time.
But former Public Utilities Minister Marvin Gonzalez questioned the delay.
It is ludicrous, because what are you negotiating? There's no need to negotiate because you promised 10%.
Gonzalez says the current WASA board and management were appointed by the government, and they should therefore be held accountable. He also criticizes the PSA president for targeting WASA's management rather than the government, calling her disingenuous. Padarth took to social media to defend the government against Gonzalez's critique. Meanwhile, CNC3 News contacted WASA's CEO, Dane Maharaj, and the PSA president for an update on the negotiations, but there was no response by Newstime. Doris Polo, CNC3 News.
Daily rated workers represented by the NUGFW could begin receiving their increased salaries in September after Cabinet ratified the union's 10% wage agreement with the Chief Personnel Officer. CPO Dr. Daryl Dindial confirmed the development to CNC3 News, describing Cabinet's approval as the most important step towards implementing the new rates for approximately 20,000 workers. Asked how soon the new salaries could be reflected, Dindial said September was now the more realistic timeline because of the remaining administrative work. Dindial explained that the agreement must now go to the Ministry of Labour for a procedural non-objection, after which he will issue instructions for the new rates to be implemented. The development represents significant progress after NUGFW President General Christopher Street complained earlier this week that somebody dropped the ball on implementing the increases. The agreement is expected to cost the state approximately $2.6 billion in arrears, while adding another $252 million annually to the public sector wage bill. Dindial confirmed that the 40% cash component of the arrears will be paid over 2 fiscal years.
Meanwhile, members of the Works Credit Union on Dundonald Street, Port of Spain, are calling on government to intervene in ongoing industrial action at the credit union as they are currently unable to access their money. For a third week, employees of Works Credit Union took to the streets as they continue to call for salary negotiations. The Banking and Insurance General Workers Union says workers have not received a salary increase in 4 years and will continue a legally sanctioned 3-month strike. And with just 2 weeks left for the reopening of the academic year, credit union members say they are unable to access their money and cannot purchase their children's school supplies.
Look at what's going on in front of you. Right? Non-cash. Imagine you going to a credit union and your money saved inside of it. You can't get no cash. What kind of, that is high percentage of failure. You understand? So what I say, I want the minister, whoever in control, and credit unions and the press, or they look into them.
Big Woo Branch President June Allitt-Hagley says the employees deserve to be treated with respect. She's calling for better working conditions, including salary increases. Allitt-Hagley says the credit union's board continues to ignore their request to meet, and workers, as well as credit union members, are being adversely affected.
Our members are suffering. They can't get withdrawals because they refuse to meet with us. They have the view that we don't deserve a salary increase, even though we have been consistently working, diligently helping our members. We care about this credit union. I'm wondering if the board of directors care about the membership, staff, or even the entire credit union.
The Banking and Insurance General Workers Union says it will continue to voice the concerns of workers until the issues are resolved.
CNC3 News contacted the president of Works Credit Union, Dawn D'Souza, who told us that management is committed to meeting and resolving the concerns of its employees. She denies claims that they have refused to meet with the union. Still to come in the news, a major regional crackdown on transnational crime takes millions of dollars in illicit assets and contraband off the table.
$20 million for book grants, the acting education minister reveals when parents can expect the long-awaited support.
Coming up in sport, TNT's young Red Force Divas whip Barbados, but face them again tomorrow for the CWI Rising Stars title.
We finally said yes to onion rings. Now it's your turn to say yes to the new KFC onion ring chicken sandwich for $34.95, or get a regular side of rings for just $15. KFC, it's finger-licking good.
The 7 police officers who were arrested in connection with the disappearance of 3 firearms and a quantity of ammunition from the Central Police Station on Monday remain in custody and are still being questioned. Senior police officials confirm no charges were laid against the group, whose ranks range from an acting sergeant to police constable. 2 female officers are among the 7 arrested. The officers were on shift on August 11th when the guns and ammunition were discovered missing from the armory at CPS St. Vincent Street in Port of Spain. The missing items include 3 Glock pistols, 3 magazines, and 45 rounds of 9mm ammunition. The items were lodged at the CPS for safekeeping by municipal police officers attached to the Port of Spain division. Tuesday's incident comes almost 4 months after the armory at the San Fernando Municipal Police Station was found emptied of arms and ammunition.
A major blow to regional crime. Millions of dollars in drugs and contraband seized and smuggling networks across the region disrupted.
The month-long intelligence-led maritime operation seized an estimated $54.5 million worth of illegal goods.
But the bigger concern may be what investigators are now seeing on the narcotics routes. Keishan Haynes has more.
10 months after the United States Operation Southern Spear targeted alleged drug traffickers in the Caribbean Sea, the region mounted another major intelligence-led offensive against transnational crime. This time, the operation was coordinated by CARICOM Impacts, working alongside regional and international partners. The 4-week interdiction phase, called Operation Eclipse, was carried out in May this year, with its findings released publicly on Friday. And the numbers tell the story. 24 successful operations resulted in cocaine worth more than $44 million, and marijuana valued at an estimated $6.8 million also seized. The drugs were intercepted aboard go-fast boats, yachts, and inter-island cargo vessels. But narcotics were not the only target. Authorities also confiscated more than 6,000 cases of illegal alcohol, cigarettes, and cylinders of banned refrigerant gas, together valued at more than $1.58 million. 2 firearms and 65 rounds of ammunition were also intercepted, along with 13 vessels. The operation extended beyond contraband. 59 irregular migrants were intercepted while being moved throughout multi-point transit routes. CARICOM Impact says contraband smuggling accounted for the largest share of maritime activity, but intelligence gathered during the operation points to another emerging threat. Investigators say there's a growing trend of clandestine aircraft dropping narcotics near border areas, where the drugs are then collected by maritime operators. CARICOM Impact's Executive Director, Lieutenant Colonel Michael Jones, says regional unity remains one of the most powerful weapons against sophisticated criminal syndicates. Operation Eclipse brought together combined forces of 14 CARICOM member states with support from the United States as well as other international partners. Keishan Haynes, CNC3 News.
Parents awaiting the government's book grant could begin receiving payments from the week of August 24th as the Education Ministry moves to finalize approvals ahead of the September reopening of schools. Acting Education Minister Barry Padaret says the $20 million disbursement is now approaching its final administrative stages, with approvals expected to be completed within days. With the new academic year fast approaching, CNC3 News noted members of the public asking for an update on the book grant. And today, the minister gave the latest information.
I'm advised by the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Education that all approvals will be finalized by early next week, and therefore it will start hitting at their accounts department pretty soon. So by next week it should be finalized, all approvals have been met, all the funds have been identified. So we're hoping after next week, once that process is completed, then disbursement will start.
President of the National Parent Teachers Association, Walter Stewart, said parents, guardians and students are anxiously awaiting the funds as the new school term approaches. He said some families depend entirely on the grant to purchase essential books and school supplies. The NPTA is urging the ministry to begin payments quickly and provide regular updates on the process. Meanwhile, CNC3 News also asked Minister Padaret for an update on when incoming Form 1 students will be given their laptops.
There's a partnership between the Ministry of Education and the Ministry of Public Utilities in the procurement of the laptops. That process is ongoing. It will be for open tender, and therefore the aim is to ensure that laptops reach Form 1 students within the first term of the new academic year.
The minister said this process has received cabinet approval.
An 80-year-old pensioner from Vancouver was attacked and beaten by two intruders while feeding his bedridden wife inside their home on Tuesday night. Lawrence Rampasad says the masked bandits entered from the back of the house and caught him by surprise. He was beaten with a mop stick as the men demanded gold jewelry. Rampasad suffered a cut on his head that required stitches and says he's now having difficulty hearing in his left ear. The pensioner says his wife, who is unable to walk and speak properly following a stroke, cried throughout the ordeal. Fortunately, they did not hurt her. The intruders eventually left empty-handed.
I was feeding the mother on the bed here, and these two guys come from the back, so, and started beat me there. While feeding she and I fall. When they hit me foot last year, I fall on the ground there. Started me to see the blood, I get frightened. They still come and get me one here again in my hand. When I could have get up late, the next one there.
Rampasad says crime is out of control. He says this is the first time he has experienced such an incident in the 48 years they've been living in the community. Since the incident, Rampasad says he's seen police patrolling outside his home. He hopes the patrols continue as the sense of security he once had has been shattered. In tonight's Business Watch, despite becoming the CARICOM distributor for Easy Street Asphalt from the UK, a local company is hoping to develop a local manufacturing hub to reduce import costs.
Also, the public and private sectors are urged to support culture as an economic driver. Peter Christopher tells us more.
Despite seeing significant success in its first 6 months of operations, New Wave Road Solutions says it is hoping to develop a local manufacturing hub to bring down import costs. The company is the local distributor of Easy Street Asphalt and has been in high demand because they offer a product which addresses a common and recurring problem in Trinidad and Tobago: potholes. The company has also found success regionally as it has become the distributor for the product in CARICOM. However, the company's head of operations, Joshua Rogers, says navigating the ongoing foreign exchange challenges has pushed the company to seek out a local avenue for production.
When it comes to manufacturing, we would love to start operations in the next, year, within the next year. That would obviously bring down the price for the product drastically down.
Rogers says the company is also hoping to meet with government officials to possibly provide repair services on roads currently under the purview of central and local government. Chairman of the National Academy for the Performing Arts, Kenny Phillips, says culture should not be viewed as separate from the economy. Phillips made the call at a media event which announced the 2026 recipients of the Make It Happen Awards at Becoming 3.
Recognition matters. Government, state, institution, and corporate Trinidad and Tobago therefore have a responsibility that goes beyond sponsorship or putting a logo on an event. It should be more than that. We must invest in people. We must invest in talent because culture is not separate from our economy. Culture is one of our greatest economic assets.
Phillips says this is why he has allowed more use of the ground floor of the still-to-be officially open Napa Hotel for events to give the creative sector another avenue to showcase itself to the public. The Make It Happen Awards recognizes members of the orange economy or the creative sector. This year's recipients are fashion designer Ecliffe Eli and its first female recipient, news anchor Disha Rambajan Marley. Notably, Napa is set to host the Caribbean Music Awards in Trinidad and Tobago later this year. It will be the first time a Caribbean country will host the event. And now for a look at today's energy and foreign exchange prices. Peter Christopher, CNC3 Business Watch.
Millions of taxpayers' dollars possibly wasted at the Ridgeview Heights HDC development in Bon Air North As Minister in the Ministry of Housing, Philip Alexander says the incomplete units may now have to be demolished. And Alexander is blaming former Housing Minister Camille Robinson-Regis for what went wrong. Alexander says the unfinished units cannot simply be completed and handed over because of major structural issues. After touring the Stole development today, Alexander said there is no geotechnical survey on file showing what was done after the land was cut and filled. He also claims it appears the land was not properly compacted before construction and questions how the type of foundation used at the site was determined. Alexander says that means taxpayers could now have to pay again because the structures can no longer be salvaged.
Everything here behind you, all of it, has to be demolished. This is more Tres Trail. This is more Las Alturas. This was paid for by the HDC under Camille Robinson-Regis. And now taxpayers have to foot the bill again for another demolition, another P&M failure that we have to demolish.
But Alexander says the problems at Ridgeview Heights go beyond the structural concerns. He claims the HEC spent almost $166 million on partially completed units. He also claims units valued at about $600,000 were being built at a cost of $1.2 million each. Alexander says the HEC is now trying to quantify the losses and determine what, if anything, can be salvaged. He also says the HEC board is seeking legal advice on whether money can be recovered. Efforts to contact HEC's former line minister Robinson-Regis for a response were unsuccessful up to news time.
Still to come in the news, a leatherback nesting site sits in the middle of great race action at Store Bay, leaving stakeholders nervous.
Well, weather conditions could deteriorate quickly overnight. I'll tell you what to expect after the break.
We finally said yes to onion rings. Now it's your turn to say yes to the new KFC onion ring chicken sandwich for $34.95 or get a regular side of rings for just $15. KFC, it's finger-licking good.
Here at GMMB, love is the currency. And let's show you how we are able to transfer that energy into real conversations. How important is it for the client to be recognized and not to feel invisible, to feel like just a number?
At GMMB, everybody is seen as an ideal, important client. And we give everybody the same level of respect, the same level of acknowledgement, and we deal with you to suit based on that vision of love.
GMMB.
It's banking for real.
My man, Andre.
Good night, Anthony.
7 years with the company, and we couldn't do it without Antoine.
Happy birthday, dear Alejandro. Happy birthday to you.
Who's Angelo? We're like coworkers who don't forget your name.
I'm Angelo.
CG United. Good like that.
Every day, your family comes into contact with thousands of germs. That's why families trust Kovacs antibacterial bar soap. Its antibacterial formula helps eliminate 99.9% of germs, providing the protection your family needs. And with a caring glycerine formula, Kovacs helps keep skin feeling clean, fresh and cared for. Choose fresh, cool or active protection to match your family's lifestyle. Kovacs antibacterial soap. Tough on germs, gentle on skin.
Get a loan at Bremont. The process is simple. Fast and efficient approvals. Receive funds within 24 hours once approved. And no penalty for early repayment. Located at 4 Gallo Street, Woodbrook. Remember, we like to lend.
Citizens Against Noise Pollution is welcoming government's decision to incorporate traditional fireworks with what they term low-noise fireworks as well as a drone show. The planned display comes against the backdrop of new fireworks legislation which took effect last December 19th, which introduced a permit system and restricted fireworks within a half-mile of hospitals, zoos, airports, animal shelters, farms, forest reserves, and national parks. Vice President of Operations Lindian Bechu says while the goal is to ensure that there's a reduction in excessive noise, the group recognizes that change can be transitional, but is still hopeful that there will be a permanent solution. Bechu says this is a meaningful starting point.
Well, that story brings us to tonight's People Say question. We asked, are you happy with the return of fireworks for this year's Independence Day celebrations?
Yes and no. When I say no, that it doesn't really matter to me. I went to one celebration and to me, all everybody saying is, ooh, ah, ooh. But it's good because the public look forward to it. It's a family affair, we want a better expression. And our celebrations are a form of identifying who we are as a people and as a nation.
Yes. Tell me why. Because a lot of children look forward to it. Somewhat, but it has to be managed because of the pets around.
Yeah, I'm so elated. I'm so satisfied by that decision that they make. And I do think like that would bring like joy, that would bring a lot of exuberance and stuff, you know, in the nation in terms of the kids and stuff, you know, like they will enjoy, you know, the moment knowing that, you know, they haven't experienced that in such a long time. So I do think that it's a great decision that they make, you know, permitting the fireworks again.
Honestly, it's a complicated topic. While I do agree in having some sort of celebration for our Independence Day, I do believe that fireworks is noisy and it does cause a lot of harm to the animals nearby. So I do think it's a complicated topic in order for them to reinstate it.
I like the drone show, I appreciate the drone show, and I appreciate the silent ones. In regards to the noise one, I'm not really a fan of it. But overall, I am. It is a form of happiness, I guess, for the nation. Speaking on behalf of the nation, yeah, for especially young ones, it is something joyous for them. So I kind of like to be happy with people being happy. So it is a win-win in the sense of that, having those two in particular. Like I said, not to in agreement with the noise, in general speaking.
The drone show, I know that is something, you know, people look forward to, that is something new, and, you know, at least it's better than the noisy fireworks for the animals. You know, so that is a good thing. That's the noisy fireworks. You know, I know they have a concern with the animals, so that's the only negative with the noisy fireworks, but otherwise it is a good thing.
Well, it's Sigoni's time now. Sigoni, what are we in for this weekend? Dust, rain, dust and rain?
Well, as of midnight tonight, we're in for some wet weather. An adverse weather alert is in effect or taking effect, and we have a lot to look forward to. A mix of dust and rain in this outlook. So let's take a look at that as we push into this weekend and early next week. Remember that tropical wave that we've been monitoring all week long for potential tropical cyclonic development? That's this massive cloud here. Well, that's not happening anymore at this stage, but this tropical wave is moving across Trinidad and Tobago, and it will bring with it a more active spell of weather. But the rain, the heavy rain that is, will not be everywhere. This has prompted the Met Service to issue an adverse weather alert for the islands and its surrounding waters. But the key overnight into tomorrow is localized intensity, meaning wind gusts could reach anywhere up to 50 kilometers per hour near heavy showers or thunderstorms during this period, with intense rainfall that could trigger street or flash flooding and even water ponding and reduce visibility. Landslips and landslides are also possible in susceptible areas, particularly following prolonged periods of rainfall. So if the sky suddenly darkens, be prepared for conditions to change quickly. And it's not just on land, it's impacting offshore conditions as well, which could become quite agitated. But before we get ahead of ourselves, here's why this is all happening. That dust plume, the massive plume that was over us yesterday into this morning, It has now moved into the Caribbean Sea, and it's making the way for this tropical wave to really just move into the area uninhibited, bringing in a lot of moisture and instability. So this is what we look like right now. Trinidad and Tobago starting to get covered by cloud. Barbados already looking out for wet weather overnight, and for us, we'll start to see those showers picking up, as well as an increase in cloudiness just after midnight. This is what we're projecting around 1 in the morning. Showers and thunderstorms lining across the southern portion of the island, moving into the east. Tobago already looking out for some wet weather in this forecast, and it will push across the general area with that bit of moisture rolling into tomorrow's outlook. What we see here is a lot of cloudiness taking us through this weekend with showers and thunderstorms, and again, the gusty winds, the street and flash flooding. Look out for these conditions as you're commuting and conducting your activities into tomorrow's forecast early in the day, and then it settles down overnight. For the remainder of the weekend into next week, conditions start to dry out and temperatures get back into that steamy spell. So we'll see that happening for Trinidad and Tobago. Winds will be strengthening on land as well, so pay attention for those of you with the umbrellas that may not be able to survive that bit of windy activity. And as you go through the weekend, you'll notice the showers picking up again, clearing out by midweek, and warm temperatures there. If you're heading offshore, what we notice here is that winds again will create occasionally choppy conditions. The direction has changed now from the east to southeast, and your wave heights are approaching 2.5 meters in open waters. It could get up to about 1.5 meters in the nearshore areas, and springtide, it's still there. It's going to be with us for the next 24-hour period, ending into tomorrow's forecast, but it will make for some very rough conditions offshore. A little extra chop for those of you heading out. So be mindful of what's happening. Umbrellas definitely, and be careful when you're commuting and conducting your daily activities.
Yeah, and especially to those in the great race community, those who may be, competing or, on the seas still
Extra
on.
caution.
Thank you so much, Sigoni. Let's tell you what's still to come in the news.
Calypso is really the route of where it all starts for us here in Barbados across the Caribbean,
Long before Kadooman, Barbados comes alive with its harvest celebrations. We'll give you a glimpse into the pre-carnival celebrations.
And so I tell them never ever worry if your nice car get damaged bad. I tell them never ever worry if your house get flooded out real bad. I tell them never ever worry, what I'm saying is true. Always consider Tatil is always right here for you.
Tatil, where people are people. You know what I mean.
Adventure, discovery, and relaxation await you at La Vega Estate. Open daily, including weekends and public holidays. There's something for everyone. Right into excitement on daily ATV tours with beginner to advanced options for ages 16 and up. Join knowledgeable guides for wildlife, ecology, and origin tours, spotting animals in their natural habitat. Kids can enjoy sensory tours too. Unwind at the nature park and pools. Then visit our well-stocked garden center. La Vega Estate. Experience it all.
Dust, allergies, congestion, dry air, your nose deals with it all. Now there's one solution designed to do more. NeilMed Nasa Mist All-in-One combines 3 specially designed nozzles in one convenient can. Spray or irrigate to cleanse, moisturize, and soothe nasal passages with sterile, preservative-free, pH-balanced saline. Relief from allergies, congestion, sinus pressure, and everyday nasal irritation. NeilMed Nasa Mist All-in-One. One spray. 3 ways to breathe better. Available at pharmacies nationwide.
As hundreds of people flock to Store Bay for the annual Great Race festivities this weekend, beachgoers are being warned to watch their step while partying.
The popular destination will be crawling with visitors throughout the day for the Inter-Island Powerboat Race and after party. But stakeholders are reminding the public to stay away from a leatherback nest at the popular beach. Over a week ago, a leatherback turtle came ashore at Store Bay and laid her eggs. A small picket has been placed around the site, but one stakeholder is calling on the authorities to act swiftly to secure the area.
So what they're saying though, that bring have a protection barrier at Pigeon Point, that bring it to pier, but you see the time, and tomorrow is the big day and I haven't done anything as yet. So I'm going to take it up on my own to make sure that it's finished for in the morning.
Ronaldo said he will be adding barriers and making a sign so the public can be aware. He added lifeguards and other stakeholders on the beach will be patrolling the area tomorrow to ensure it isn't trampled. Well, as you just heard, the 58th Great Race is on this weekend. Jassy is back to tell us what else is happening.
Yeah, let's just say there's a lot to do, from the water to the racetrack, power boating, karting, mountain biking, and more. The full list comes your way after the break. And one CONCACAF member breaks ranks in support of Gianni Infantino. Stick around. Sport is next.
Struggling to lose weight despite your efforts, feeling tired after meals, or dealing with stubborn belly fat? It may not just be your diet. Your blood sugar could be the issue. Spikes can lead to fat storage, low energy, and higher cholesterol. Berberine Plus, with berberine, bitter melon, and banaba leaf, helps support healthy glucose metabolism so your body works more efficiently. Take control and feel the difference in 90 days. Available at Pennywise and leading pharmacies nationwide.
Welcome to Holiday Inn Express and Suites.
Do enjoy, Stacey. You want some coffee?
Can I have a
Perfect then.
That's exactly what we need.
Hey, the pool is this way.
Whatever you're here for, we're here for you. Stay smart at the Holiday Inn Express and Suites.
The biggest party in sport is back. Catch every TKR March live and exclusively on CNC3, August 7th through September 20th. You don't want to miss the action. The Republic Bank CPL 2026, only on CNC3. Passion, energy, and cricket live here. Brought to you by
Welcome back. The Ministry of Sport and Youth Affairs has stepped in to commit financial support for expenses related to inter-island travel during this season's Secondary Schools Football League. The ministry's intervention follows 2 meetings with the SSFL executive held this week, where the SSFL presented 2 proposals. The parties subsequently agreed to a full league format where each of the 17 teams, inclusive of the 2 Tobago schools, face one another in 16 matches. This format would cost the ministry, through the Sport Company of Trinidad and Tobago, just over $400,000. On Friday, SSFL President Mariri Gonzalez put out this statement.
It means that the student athletes will now be afforded the opportunity to engage with competition where all teams involved, 17 teams, will be on display in the Boys Premiership Division for the 2026 season.
Gonzalez indicated that the General Council of the SSFL will now meet again to ratify this proposed format. The development comes after the league announced last week that it had voted on a 15-team competition for Trinidad schools only and a separate 4-team competition for Tobago in order to minimize inter-island travel costs. The decision drew sharp criticism, led by THA Chief Secretary Farley Augustine and Tobago Football Association President Everton Alfred. You can read more on this story in tomorrow's Guardian. Trinidad and Tobago's under-19 women's cricketers are 1 win away from the Cricket West Indies Rising Stars title. In a dress rehearsal for tomorrow's final today, they were clinical against the defending champions Barbados. Rajiv Suratsingh has more.
TNT posted a commanding 132 for 6, putting the pressure firmly on Barbados in this battle of the unbeatens at Coolidge Cricket Ground in Antigua. And once again, Captain Samara Ramnath led from the front, anchoring the innings with a composed 56 from 53 balls. Despite the wicket of key opener Amrita Ramtahal, TNT batters showed plenty of purpose, building a total that gave their bowlers a substantial target to defend. And if the batters laid the foundation, the bowlers hammered home the advantage. Shreya Jairam was the standout, claiming 3 wickets for 8 runs as TNT kept the Barbadians under constant pressure. Barbados never really found their rhythm in the chase, and the early dismissal of dangerous batter Ebony Brathwaite for 11 off 7 from a devastating Ramtahal delivery dealt another blow to their hopes. The Barbadians eventually managed just 48, handing TNT a commanding 84-run victory. And what a way to finish the preliminary round 5 matches. 5 wins and an unbeaten record for Ramnath and her young Trinbagonian side. But the job isn't done. Tomorrow it's the final, and Barbados get another shot at TNT's rising stars, this time hoping to defend their title. Rajiv Surat Singh, CNC3 Sport.
Meanwhile, Guyana Amazon Warriors made a statement in their CPL 2026 opener, crushing Jamaica Kingsmen by 6 wickets in Kingston last night. Samaki Felician has that recap.
In the air, fielders there.
After winning the toss, the Guyana Amazon Warriors went to work early on the Kingsmen. Shayan Jahangir was Kari Pierre's first wicket in Warriors colours, but Kingsmen, looking for their first win after 2, tried not to let that stop their flow.
Joseph.
But Casey Carty was their second casualty for 5. South African opener Reza Hendricks carried on, smashing 40 of 32 balls and restored temporary stability alongside Rovman Powell. After taking them from 26 to 61, Reza's reign was ended by Warriors captain Emran Tahir. It only got worse for the Kingsmen, and with 66 on the board, Mohamed Nabi put 1 stroke into the wickets column. Powell would give the Kingsmen some hope, stroking 24 of 17 balls to take them to 77 for 4, but Tahir would strike again.
He goes again. He's not got it. And for the second time, Rovman Powell has hit a 6 and been dismissed.
He ended with 2 for 26, but from there, it would become the Nabi show. He took out Kingsmen's danger man Andrew Russell for 1 and also sent Kimo Paul back, as well as Hunen Shah, claiming an impressive 4 for 22 and helping bowl out the Kingsmen for just 117. Jediah Blades took out fellow youngster Mavindra Dindyal for 1 from the second ball of the Warriors' innings. But New Zealand's Glenn Phillips kept them ticking over. He was especially comfortable on the cut, counting 4 fours and a 6. But his only mistake was trying to clear the fence a second time. Gone for 28 from 17, caught a deep square. Russell had a second wicket, getting Shemron Hetmeyer for 1. But then came JAW's shining hope, Shea.
He goes full again, and guess what? You bowl that length, it's risky.
His 51-run partnership with Nabi, who made 19, helped him toward a half-century, and his winning hit took them to 118 for 4 and left him unbeaten on 56 from 41 balls. Warriors winning by 6 wickets, Kingsmen condemned to 3 defeats in a row. Samaki Felician, CNC3 Sport.
Well, now Shea Hope puts 1 into the Sabina car park for a shot of the day. Power from Shea Hope. You're accustomed to the delicate nature, the gorgeous drives. And a little bit of power is needed. He can roll the sleeves up. And New Zealand's Glenn Phillips holds on to a skier for catch of the day.
It's gone very high, but there's a certain man under it who does not drop. But the length is what is important. Doesn't get close to it. Look at this though, Glenn Phillips. Absolutely wonderful.
Regionally now, Grenada's Football Association backs FIFA President Gianni Infantino, and the 2026 CFU Under-14 Challenge Series kicks off.
The Grenada Football Association is standing firmly behind FIFA President Gianni Infantino, following his decision to withdraw the controversial FIFA Forward Enterprise initiative. The GFA welcomes the move, saying it shows Infantino's commitment to maintaining unity among FIFA's 211 member associations and confederations. It also praised the financial and technical support provided under Infantino's leadership, particularly for grassroots, girls and women's football in Grenada. Meanwhile, the Caribbean's young football stars are ready to take the spotlight as the CFU Boys Under-14 Challenge Series gets underway in the Dominican Republic on Sunday. Trinidad and Tobago, Jamaica, Barbados, Haiti, Curacao, and the host will battle for the title. In athletics, Jamaica's Shanoya Douglas may have left the World Under-20 Championships with 3 medals, but the sprinter admits she expected more from herself. Douglas won gold as part of Jamaica's women's 4x100 meter relay team, while taking silver in both the 100 and 200 meter sprints. Entering the championships as the World Under-20 leader in both events, Douglas graded her performance just 5 out of 10, saying the experience has taught her to manage expectations. Samaki Felician, CNC3 Sport.
And now for a look ahead to what the weekend has in store for TNT's athletes and teams.
One of the big tickets this weekend is for the 58th running of the Great Race on Saturday morning, with powerboats set to make the dash from Trinidad to Tobago from 7 a.m. Whether it's from the foreshore in Port of Spain, along Trinidad's north coast, out on the waters, or at the finish line in Storby, Tobago, head out and delight in the roar of these beasts making the crossing. There's more motorsport action at Wallerfield Raceway, where the 2026 Nations Cup Caribbean Regional Junior Championship is happening. 13 young drivers from TNT Barbados, Bermuda and Jamaica are battling for honours on Saturday and Sunday. Sunday also features mountain biking with the National Cross Country Championships scheduled for Salmon Park in Chaguaramas. And TNT hosts the Goodwill Swimming Meet at the National Aquatic Centre in Balmain, Couva. Morning sessions begin at 9 a.m. and evening sessions at 5. Your chance to see the Caribbean's best juniors create a splash. And Saturdays are made for cricket as Trinidad and Tobago's under-19 women look to cap a stunning CWI Rising Stars campaign and stay unbeaten when they take on Barbados in the championship final in Antigua at 2 p.m. The Trinbago Knight Riders renew a rivalry with the Jamaica Kingsmen. The CPL's 2 most successful teams clash at Sabina Park from 8 p.m. and you can view it live exclusively on CNC3. So from the cricket field to the racecourse, the water and the bike trails, go out, support and enjoy the action this weekend. Rajiv Surat Singh, CNC3 Sport.
Thank you, Rajiv. Now, a skipper's knock is our pick for tonight's Sport High. TNT skipper Samara Ramnath continued her stunning run of form with the bat at the CWI's Rising Stars Championship. With shots all along the Coolidge carpet and some over the top, she pulled out the full array, anchoring the TNT innings with a composed 56 of 53. It set the platform for an emphatic win and for tonight's CNC3 Sport High.
A lot happening.
Yeah, and a big final for our under-19 women tomorrow. We wish them luck. Just saw the captain there in the picture, and hopefully she can continue to lead in the excellent manner that she's done so far.
All right, thank you so much, Jassy. Let's take a break. We'll be right back.
2 teams, 1 explosive showdown on the best television station. The Trinbago Knight Riders face the Jamaica Kingsmen this Saturday, August 15th, in another massive Republic Band CPL T20 clash. Join us from 7:30 p.m. for the live pre-show. Then catch every boundary, wicket, and big moments live and exclusive on CNC3 and CNC3Live.com from 8 p.m. Watch the Trinbago Knight Riders versus Jamaica Kingsmen only on CNC3 and CNC3Live.com. Cricket lives here.
How we play. How we play. Yeah, how you play.
The sound of steel pan filled the Queen's Park Savannah as family, friends and members of the Pan fraternity gathered to celebrate the life of internationally acclaimed panist, arranger and composer Robert "Robbie" Greenidge. Greenidge died on June 8th. At his funeral, speakers remembered a man whose career stretched from Success Village, Laventille, to some of the world's most prestigious stages, while repeatedly returning to the same description of the man behind the music: humble, generous, disciplined, and deeply committed to Pan. For his family, Greenidge was first a brother, son, uncle, and father. His brother Hayden said that despite all the accomplishments being recounted, those closest to him knew Robert simply as family.
Well, as most of you have known him as a pan expert, pan musician, an international performer, a Grammy Award winner. But to us, Robert is just a brother, he's a son, he's the uncle of many, and he's father of two lovely children, as he will say. Praise God. And I would like to say that this humble man,
Greenwich grew up in Success Village, Laventille, an area with a deep and historic connection to the development of TNT steel band movement. His early musical influence included his uncle Carl, who helped guide him towards Desperados Steel Orchestra. Greenwich joined Desperados in 1964 and remained a member until his passing, a relationship spanning more than 6 decades. Representing Desperados Steel Orchestra, Miranda Martin described Greenwich as a musical genius. Martin said Greenwich's contribution included 3 of Desperados' 12 national panorama titles.
He was a former manager and arranger of Desperados, and up until his passing, he was a member of the board of directors of the Desperados Steel Orchestra Company. Mr. Greenwich brought many accomplishments to Desperados, inclusive of 3 of the 12 national panorama titles.
The funeral at the Queen's Park Savannah carried particular significance because it fulfilled Greenwich's final wish. Moore said Greenwich wanted his people, his country, and his steel band family to gather and send him home. Well, ahead of Independence Day, we ventured across the country asking citizens, what does Trinidad and Tobago mean to you?
Every night, we'll be bringing you one patriotic response. Here's what one person had to say.
And we must start with self-love. Once we have self-love, everything go in sync with nature.
Couldn't say it any better. Well, the rhythm, color, and energy of Barbados' Crop Over Festival can be felt long before Grand Kadooment.
From its roots in history and culture to the food, music, and fetes, Crop Over is a celebration that brings the island to life. Angelo Jedediah and Ricardo St. Bernard were there to experience Barbados' Harvest Festival.
The atmosphere in Barbados over the last few weeks has certainly been active. As Crop Over came to life, the small island was transformed, drawing visitors from across the region and beyond. And while many know the color, energy and spectacle of Grand Kadooment Day, the story of Crop Over begins months earlier with a festival steeped in Barbados' history, culture, and yes, its painful plantation past.
We have this festival, which is a rich part of our heritage and our culture. It's an opportunity where back then, you had agriculture workers who used to come out and celebrate the end of the crop over season, which is the traditional end of the sugarcane season. That tradition has continued in Barbados. Over time, we've developed the festival into what has been a very iconic festival that is shared with the world.
And throughout the festival, pieces of that history come to life, sometimes in the most unexpected ways. Like Mother Sally, a traditional folk character known for her exaggerated hips and big, bold movements. Or the Donkey Man, prancing, dancing, and working the dancing floor with every step. But if there is one tradition that demands more than just watching, it's the Barbados Landship.
Everybody hold on.
Because here, you don't just stand on the sidelines, you fall in line.
Everybody stands at attention. I don't want to sloppy sailors for this shit at all. Ample! Double time and hold on. Hold on. Go and 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4.
And after all that marching and moving, there was only one thing on our minds: food. Because what would Crop Over be without a taste of Bajan cuisine?
Fish cakes, bakes, Bajan soup, macaroni pie, cuckoo, flying fish, that kind of stuff. Pickle, anything pickled, pork, shrimp, any kind of meat pickled. Those are some of the things that really stand out.
And of course, some Bajan rum punch to wash it all down. But in Barbados' sweltering heat, sometimes you need something a little cooler, like a snow cone. Every flavor you can imagine.
Got coconut, cherry, pineapple, orange, lime, blue, grape, coffee, grapefruit, sorrel, tamarind, ginger. They got lemonade, they got bay leaf, non-sweet.
But the flavor of crop over wasn't just on the plate or in your cups. It was in the music. Even Barbados Prime Minister Mia Mottley agrees. And among Barbados' many sounds, calypso remains a powerful part of its culture, connecting the island to the wider Caribbean.
Calypso is really the root of where it all starts for us here in Barbados across the Caribbean, you know.
And at this year's Pick of the Crop finals, where Barbados' Calypso monarch is crowned, that Caribbean connection was clear, as Adrian A.C. Clark won the 2026 title with Legends from the Grave, paying homage to Calypso legends from across the region. And while crop over may have its own identity, it's still part of the wider Caribbean carnival family. Plenty of reasons for visitors to keep coming back.
There are going to be parties, there are going to be costume parades, masquerade is a big thing, and so Crop Over has always endeavored to keep pace with what is happening, with what is bringing people to what we call carnival chasers and fete chasers to come to our region and have a great time.
Angelo Chetadaya, CNC3 News, Bridgetown, Barbados.
That's how we end the 7 p.m. news this evening. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Ria Rambali.
I'm Akash Samar.
I am Jassi Marique.
And I'm Sigoni Mohammed. Have a safe weekend.